Hey, shalom, 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 everybody listening. This is Rabbi Lewis coming at you live again to the power of the internet. This is our seventh show. I think we're not series that we've been doing. Today's topic was Ruth and Moabite. David's grandmother was she actually a bloodline Moabite or was she an Israelite? And we're going to be also dealing with the topic: can the Gentiles be saved? So yeah, we're getting started a little bit late. How's my audio coming through, brother? Pretty good. All right. Hopefully my audio is coming through good. We had some technical issues 2 weeks ago. 1 second, family. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, sounds like everything's going well. All right. So let's get started. We can start with tonight's topic. Our topic tonight is 1 second. Was Ruth the Moabite and can the Gentiles be saved? I let the brother Hezekiah Ben Israel back with us again, also known as Edomite Slayer, introduce himself. Then we'll go ahead and get started with the topic. Your mic's on mute.
Peace to the downtrodden, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, children of Israel, brother Hezekiah Ben Israel. And today's topic is discussion was Ruth the Moabite and can the Gentiles be saved? Which, well, we'll just get into that, but it should be easily understood. I think the biggest thing is we all have to understand Yah's plan for mankind, not Yah's plan for Israel. Yah's plan for mankind. And that's what most Israelites that are into cults, into camps, they don't grasp that Israel has a purpose. Our purpose was not to rule the planet. That's not our purpose. That's what we'll be doing by obeying. But that wasn't our purpose. Just like a child, if I'm a multimillionaire and my sons, their purpose is not to be rich. Okay, that's what they inherit. That's not their purpose in life. Their purpose in life is not to hoard money and be rich. But if I'm a multimillionaire, then of course, as the scriptures say, a good father will leave inheritance for his children's children. Okay, so that's not what they're brought up to be. Okay, that's not their destiny. Their destiny isn't to be rich because I'm rich. They still have to be people. They still have to do things. They still have to do things and learn things in decent and order and act certain ways. So that's what people are not really grasping. Everybody think it's just Israel's supposed to run around here and we're supposed to rule the world and beat on people and slap people and mistreat the nations. So we'll get into all of that tonight because this is like, but I only notice it comes from either a messianic or it comes from those people that are the one West school of thought, which have a bad, they don't understand any scriptures, period. Okay. So I'm telling you now and everyone else, if you think that Israel's purpose is to rule the world and that was our purpose, then you don't understand the power of Yah and you don't understand Yah at all. You're a Christian. You're an idolater. Anybody with half a brain that's not into idolatry can crystal clear see what Israel's true purpose is. So with that, go ahead.
All right. So before we do it, was can the Gentiles be saved? Just a little background. Our brother Ezekiel, he's non-messianic. He does not believe in Jesus Christ of Nazareth as the Savior. So let's get started.
Hold on, and I also want to add. Let me explain something to people. Like I said, like I was telling you on the phone the other day. See, it's not a pride thing with me. I don't have this issue. Anybody that has been following my channel has seen the evolution of my channel and myself as a person. At one point in time, I was a messianic. At one point in time, I believed that Jesus was the savior of mankind and of the children of Israel. If anybody has been following my channel for any substantial amount of time, they will also know that I have consistently came out and said that that was an error and that when you learn better, when you're in this thing seeking truth, Yah will reveal the truth to you. I don't have the problem. I don't have a pride issue of saying I did something wrong in the past, because again, Yah gives the enlightenment. Yah gives the understanding, the mercy. Yah, it's all about Yah. It's not about me. When people think it's about them, then they think, okay, well, like you told me today, well, you was teaching Yahushua. Yes, I was, which I was totally wrong. That was almost 8-9 years ago, in which I was totally wrong. I don't see the thing about it between me and you. I don't have that problem. You guys, on the other hand, your prophets, your apostles, you're the 144,000. You're the 1/3. Y'all have that problem. I don't have that problem. See, crystal clear. I don't have that problem. The information is there. Where the information leads you, the facts, the proof, that's what you go with. You don't do what you want to do because you want to do it. That's idolatry. So how many Israelites can you hear that can show you? And like I said, the things that I teach now, they're crystal clear, they're sound, because there's no idolatry involved. And your elders from GMS and none of the One West camps can deal with what I'm talking about. Now, those are the facts. So I just wanted to lay that out there because I guess for some reason the other day you thought I wouldn't say that. So I wanted to lay that out there, that I was once in idolatry. That's how I recognize idolatry. Now we got people that's still in idolatry, that don't want to recognize idolatry, can see it, but still want to call people their elders, still want to follow the ways of man and not the ways of Yah. But in the backside, they want to sit there and say they're down with Yah. So go ahead.
All right. Like I said, me and Brother Zeka, we talk every day. You know what I mean? So it's like we were talking about, because Zeka is the founder of the House of Yah. His teacher who taught him a couple of prophecies is from a school called Yah Our Righteousness. And one of the prophecies that they have at Yah Our Righteousness, we can look at the website right now. Go ahead, brother. Want to say something?
Hold on, stop. Back up. Because see, you're thinking like an idolater, you're thinking like a messianic. I don't have a teacher. Have you ever heard me tell you someone was my teacher?
No, I know you said he was your elder. I don't know the brother's name, the elder's name. Go ahead, brother.
That's a different question. Have you ever heard me say someone was my teacher?
Oh, okay. No.
Okay. So retract that from the record. I don't have a teacher. My teacher is Yah himself. And I think if you would talk to the brother that is my elder, but if you would talk to the brother, he would tell you also that he's not my teacher. This isn't a cult. This isn't school. This isn't idolatry.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. So I know the brother, like you said, he's very meticulous about what he says and what he means. And I definitely commend the brother on that. Well, I know he was saying his elder from Yah Righteous, the group Yah Right, YHWH Our Righteousness on YouTube. He also has a web page where they believe that the nations are going to send Israel back. Israel's in diaspora, but the Israelites that are in diaspora are going to be sent back to the land in the last week of April to the first week of May 2018. So that will be 3 weeks from now. They believe that in 3 weeks from now that the nation is going to send them back to go back and build the temple that passed under the rod of the covenant. And that's what they actually believe. You know what I mean? So like, while what the One West camps believe that the UFOs are going to pick us up and bring us back. You know what I mean? So I want to ask about a couple questions before we get into tonight's topic. When the nations, let's say the nation is going to send us back, you know, and you know, the remnant of, there's 2 exoduses, they're going to send the remnant back. How do the nations know, you know, who's an Israelite and who's not? Because we've been mixed amongst the nations. So a little background before I let the brother go in. I mean, I'm and from my position, it doesn't sound far fetched because after the Babylonians got defeated by the Medo-Persians, the Persians sent us back to go to build the temple. After the Babylonian captivity, they freed us and sent us back to build the temple. In fact, I believe the Most High himself came to Cyrus the king and told him, send my people back to build the temple. And he sent us back under Zerubbabel, the governor of Israel. So I think I set it up. But yeah, so brother, how do the nations know who's who? Because we've been mixed amongst the nations for so long. You know what I mean? How do they know who's who, and how's is that going to be determined when the sending back process actually starts?
Well, first and foremost, it has nothing to do with what the nations. Everything is in Yah's hand. When the children of Israel, from the Babylonian exile, when the Persians released us and let us go back to the land, they didn't say you, and you go. You don't see that anywhere in the book. All this is of Yah. This has nothing to do with man. This is all of Yah. Just like we came in captivity. Yah did not tell the nations, go into the west coast of Africa and pick that person over there because he's a Benjamite. Oh, pick that person over there because he's a descendant of Yehuda, a descendant of Jerusalem. Oh, pick that person over there because he's a Levite. We don't read that in the book either. But we do know the children of Israel were taken. Now, you might ask, you ignorantly say that the nations don't know who we are because we're mixed and mingled. No, you don't have the understanding. Every year, I'll share this with you. Every year, which most of you guys don't pay attention because it's just the issue of ignorance. It's just of ignorance. Okay, so now check this out. I'm going to share my screen. This is what they do, and it's law that they do this. So this is what they do. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, that is called a census, an official count or survey of a population, typically recording various details of individuals. When you go down and look at the Census Bureau, the first link at census.gov, letting you know it's a government organization. Okay, this is what they do. So when you click on the census, they know who you are because they know who your mother is. They know who your father is. Now, granted, some of us Israelites don't know who our fathers are and things of that nature. That's totally different. But these people have trust me, they know exactly who you are, just like the children of Egypt knew who we were, just like the Babylonians knew who we were, just like everybody knows who we are. The problem is you guys are into idolatry. You can't see it and understand it. But this is the whole point of the census. Ask yourself the question, why do they require a census for you to tell who's in the household? Mother, father, children, stepchildren, whatever, who's in the household? Why? Why is that mandated by law? Because they have to know who is who and who's living where. This is how they keep up with what's going on. People sit there and say all the time, oh, well, the government can listen to you on your cell phone. They can do all this, and they snooping and they spying on us. But for some strange reason, Negroes with their very limited thinking skills think that the nations don't know who we are. They think that the government of America don't know who you are. How foolish can people be? But it's just a lack of understanding, because when you're in idolatry, you don't have clear thinking. Clear thinking doesn't happen. So this is why they do the census. And as you can look on this page right here, the U.S. population is 327,547,925. A baby was just born. And here we go. Another child is about to be born. But the world population is 7,467,039,280. Now, we know they may be an estimate, whatever case may be. But how can they have figures like that and they're accounting for it? When you look at the world population, there's a child being born every second. So people, they have to keep up with this because Negroes have never ruled nothing. Therefore, since you guys have never ruled anything and you have a slave mentality, you don't know that all resources are finite. Food is finite. There's just no magical field of delicious yum-yums and goodies and food and drinking water. That's why there are water crises all around the world right now, even in America. As Yah prophesied in the book of Yeshaya, there would be water crisis. He would dry up the watering holes. So you have to know how many people are here to be able to ration things out. You have to know your population. This is exactly why when the children of Israel came out of captivity from Babylon, it tells us in Ezra it was 42,000, 620 some odd people. How do you think they knew the exact number? Because people count. That's what people with intelligence do. They know how many people are there because they have to know how much land they have. They have to know how much livestock they need. They have to know how much food they need. That's called a government. But since Negroes have never been a part of a government, don't know anything about government, people assume nobody knows who you are. It's just that simple.
I got to mute your mic, bro. Right. Well, I know we talk all the time. Like I said, I want to say two things in response to that. We know if you study Gary Yourofsky's work, Gary Yourofsky's work. Probably, if most people have heard of PETA, which is an organization a vegan and vegetarian organization that are about animal rights. We know that according to the animal rights organizations, the cause of world hunger is factory farming because most of the oats, the soys, and the corn is animal feed. So the single-handed reason for world hunger is factory farming itself. You know what I mean? If you do some research. But anyway, back on topic. About the nations knowing who we are. Isn't it true when Second Ezra, the Levites could not declare their pedigrees, so they were counted as unclean? They couldn't prove their genealogies, right? In the book of Second Ezra, was the 6th chapter, I believe it is. The Levites couldn't prove their genealogy, so they were counted as unclean. Want to talk a little bit about that for a second?
No, that is incorrect. That was not in the book of Second Ezra. That's in the book of Ezra. Second Ezra is an apocryphal, unlawful, uncanonized, unauthorized book. Second Ezra is the Apocrypha. And I went through that last week, what the word Apocrypha means. In the book of Ezra, not Esdras. And it's definitely not Second Ezra. This is an Ezra in the Bible. It tells you that people couldn't count. Now, notice it didn't say they weren't Israelites. It said they couldn't declare their priesthood, so they couldn't be priest, not Israelite. They knew they were Israelite.
You might get that real quick, brother. Can we get that real quick? The brother doesn't mind.
Let's see. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
This is Ezra chapter 2, not Second Ezra. In Ezra chapter 2, it says, chapter 2, verse 61. And of the children of the priest, the children of Habiah and the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, who was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood. And verse 63, and Teshatha said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things till there stood up a priest with Urim and with Thummim. So now, if you read 61, these people took daughters, they were priests of Barzillai, the Gileadite, right? A Gileadite, right? And when you look up the word Gileadite, it says what? A descendant of Gilead, right? You see that? Okay.
Yep.
Now, when you go right here, it says, verse 2, these sought their register. What is the register? Something written that is a written record or book. That's a census, what we just looked at online. This is not a new invention. This is a census. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy. showing you the children of Israel are doing the same thing. They were recording who's who, because anybody can't be a priest. That's in Vayikra Leviticus. It breaks that down. But they were not found. Therefore, were they as polluted, put from the priesthood? Because you can only be a priest and a member of the priesthood if you can verify that you're one of the sons of Zadok, the seed of Zadok, or the sons of Aaron at that time. And then it says, 63, and Teshatha said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things which are in the temple, till there stood up a priest with Urim and Thummim. Now, Urim and Thummim, Hebrew 2:24, as you can see, the oracular brilliancy of the figures of the high priest's breastplate. And then it says the Thummim, it says perfection. That is, take one of the epithets of the objects in the high priest's breastplate as an emblem of complete truth. So they would cast these things, the Thummim and the Urim, and they would cast these things and they would get an answer. So now they were waiting on a priest to see if this was true or not, if these were the children of the priest, and they could be children of the Levites and be children of the priesthood by genealogy. And it said, I said again, they sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy. What does genealogy say? Used only as a denominative form to enroll by pedigree. Pedigree. Now, let's look at the word pedigree. Let's look up the word pedigree, just in case people don't know. A record of descent of an animal showing it to be purebred. You cannot be a priest or be a high priest or anything like that, as we went through last week. For the high priest, one had to do what? He had to have a virgin of his own people. Okay? Then, definition 2, the recorded ancestry, especially upper class ancestry of a person or family. It says synonyms: ancestry, descent, lineage, line of descent, genealogy, family tree, extraction, derivation, heritage, parentage, bloodline, dual heritage, background, roots. So as you can see, no, Second Ezra does not say that. And not only does Second Ezra not say that, but these people couldn't prove through the registration that they were priests, not Israelites. They knew they were Israelites. They were trying to prove that they were a part of the priesthood by blood. Totally different.
All right. Well, that definitely cleared. He definitely cleared that up. All right. So, like I said, we're getting started late tonight, but let's get right into tonight's topic, man. Was Ruth a Moabite? You know, a lot of people think that Ruth was actually a Moabite. But in Deuteronomy chapter 23 or Deuteronomy chapter 7, it says that a Moabite or Ammonite should not enter to the congregation of the Lord, even to what? The 10th generation. So some people think she was an actual Moabite because the book of Ruth calls her a Moabite.
What does that mean? What is what you just the verse you just quoted? What does that mean?
What was that? What part about?
You just said to the 10th generation. What does that mean?
Well, I think that's. I think we talk. I'm sorry, guys. Mute your mic.
Listen. I'm not talking about what we think. What does it mean?
Yeah, I think from what we were talking about, to the 10th generation is literary element. It's a literary element meaning forever, from perpetually. Because we could prove that. Nehemiah 13 says forever. Ammonite Moabite should not enter the congregation of the Lord forever. It means so real from the Shield Squad. If you guys are familiar with the Shield Squad, which is a group of Christians, we talked about that. You know, he was confounded. What does the 10th generation actually mean? Well, it's literary element because Nehemiah 13 says forever, meaning they can't come into the congregation perpetually.
I didn't ask about the time. I said, what does that mean? What does that verse you just quoted, what does it mean?
You want to explain what it means for the people?
Well, you just pulled the verse to try to substantiate it, that Ruth, because let's clear the position. The position is you're saying Ruth was a Moabite. I was an Israelite. I'm telling you she was a Moabite. So from there, so we don't have to get this twisted at all. because you're coming from the One West Camp doctrine that teaches she was a Moabite. The scriptures don't teach that. That's why when you pull that verse, I ask you, what does it mean? You pull the verse, now you want me to explain it, but you pulled the verse for a purpose. So I need you to explain the verse so you can see how that was an error.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta beat you. Okay, yeah. Well, no, my stance is that Ruth herself was from the tribe of Reuben. She was an Israelite from the tribe of Reuben. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 13 real quick. So to clear this up, I'll read my verse. I'll read it.
Before we go there, you just pulled a verse. What does that verse mean?
Yeah, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, it's literary element. I don't know if you guys know what literary element means. Literary element, it means that they can't come in perpetually. When it says to the 10th generation, it's literary element. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm gonna prove that with Nehemiah 13.
Hold on. Listen, what does this have to do with Ruth? Because the whole topic was Ruth a Moabite? What does this have to do with Ruth? Was Ruth a high priest? Was Ruth trying to be a high priest? Were there any women high priests? Was Ruth a priest herself? Did we have any scriptures that Ruth went into the congregation of Yah? The verse said, the Moabites shall not enter the congregation of Yah to the 10th generation. Ruth was a Moabite. There's no chapter and verse where Ruth entered any congregation. So what does that verse mean? That's what I'm asking you. You pulled a verse. You didn't understand it. So now I'm putting you on the spot. I'm making you explain what it means before you go to Nehemiah or Nehemiah.
Well, in debate, in dialoguing, in the debate world, that would be called a red herring. I wasn't trying to pull a red herring. It has nothing to do with her. It doesn't disqualify her from being David's grandmother. I'll make the disclaimer. I wasn't trying to pull a red herring or move the goalpost at all. But I want to get back on topic. So go ahead.
Okay, hold on. So what was the point of you bringing it up if that wasn't what you were trying to do?
Well, I was about to make a point. I thought the people should know that Moabite and Ammonite is can't enter the congregation of the Lord forever. I mean, that's just a little background about Moab and Ammon. But I'm gonna get back on topic now. Back on topic. I didn't mean to pull a red herring. Like, you know, in the debate world, they call that a red herring. You know.
So you did. Okay, so you did pull a red herring.
No, I was just making a point. I was about to make a point. I'm about to get back on topic. I just wanted to make a side.
No, that's what I'm saying. I understand that. You were making a point. A point for what purpose?
I said I was making a side point.
For what purpose? If it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, then it's not a point. That's a red herring. If it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, then it's not a point. It's not even a side point because it's not even a part of the topic. Unless you were trying to insinuate that her descendant, her parental lineage had an effect on David not being king or one of his descendants, because that's the only thing you could be utilizing that for.
Right. Well, let's get back on topic. Let's get into tonight's topic. It was a side point I was making, brothers and sisters. Sorry for I do that a lot. Like I said, you know. But anyway, he gets at me a lot for doing that. So let's go back on topic. Let's deal with tonight's topic. Tonight's topic is Ruth the Moabite, and can the Gentiles be saved? Shalom to Brother Boo in the chat room and everybody listening. That's just coming in. Hopefully the audio's coming through pretty good. All right, brother. Let's get started with tonight's topic. We're gonna deal with this Ruth the Moabite thing first. Click the first picture, brother, the first link in the chat room, and we're gonna get started with this. What I did do, I did my research, brothers and sisters. I got the maps and everything ready so you guys can get a visual of what was actually going on after the Israelites came out of Egypt and where they went, where they migrated to, and you can get a visual perspective of what was really going on. You know what I mean? And this is something I needed when I first came across this topic. I used to think Ruth was a Moabite as well until I got the visual and everything was shown to me, and I came to the conclusion she was from the tribe of Reuben. So let's get started, brother. Hit the first link, brother. If you want to say something before we get started, you can go ahead.
Can you see the map?
Yes, I can see before. Yeah, I see it. I see it now. He screwed. Come in a little bit closer. That's the picture. Okay, go back to the Google page, the image page. Yeah, right there. Yeah. Just can you just scroll, come a little bit closer? There you go. All right, you gotta mute your mic while I'm gonna straighten this out. I'm gonna make my opening statement and I'll let the brother respond because he believes that Ruth was actually an actual Moabite. All right, so what are we looking at right now? All right, so when we came out of Egypt, the Israelites came out of Egypt. We sent letters to the Amorites. The Amorites is what you see. You see the red arrows pointing up through the land of the Amorites. We sent letters to the Amorites saying, we need to pass through your land to get to where we need to go, to get to the promised land. And the Amorites refused, and they went to war with us. And we defeated them, and we took their land. Now, right below the Amorites, you got the Moabites. Before, you see where the Amorites are right now? Before, a little bit before this map was created, the Moabites had that area, and they had the area that's called Moab. You see right there, right above Ammon. Carl, can you hear me? Oh yeah. So you see Edom, you see Moab, you see the Amorites. Before the Moabites had the land of Moab, and they had the land of the Amorites. But the Amorites defeated the Moabites, it took their land. Okay, let's click go to the second picture, brother. So we went to war with the Amorites and we defeated them and took their land. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is what you're seeing in the second picture. After we defeated the Amorites, the Reubenites from the tribe of Reuben took that landmass because they came to Moses. You guys should know who Moses is by now. If you don't, I'm sure the brother's going to explain that. Moses, the Reubenites came to Moses and said, yo, man, we like this land. We like it a lot. We want to take this land. We don't want the land of Canaan. We want to take this land. And Moses told them, that's fine with me. So the Reubenites took that region. They took that. Okay? They took it from the Amorites after we defeated the Amorites in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 3. Right above that, you got Gad and you got Manasseh. Now, Gad took that land from Bashan. The Bashan, who was Og of Bashan, we went up north. After we defeated the Amorites, we went further up north, and we took the land from the Bashan's land as well. We killed everybody. We took no prisoners, and we killed everything. We killed everything in the land of the Amorites and in the land of Bashan. So where you see Reuben at right there, we killed everybody. We took no prisoners. There was nobody was spared. We took no prisoners. And we took that land, and after Reuben took that land, the Gadites took the land of Bashan. You see what I'm saying? Just click to the next picture, brother. Okay, so here you see Reuben, the territory of Reuben. That was the Amorites territory. Before the Amorites, it was the Amorites territory. It was the Moabites territory. The Amorites took it from the Moabites. We took it from the Amorites. But we were still calling that land in the red area, the plains of Moab. We would still call it the plains of Moab during the time of Moses. Actually, Moses died and was buried in Moab, but not Moab to the south. He was buried in Moab, the territory of Reuben. They were still calling the plains of Moab. Now you see Bamoth there in the circle with the arrow. If you look in Numbers, the 21st chapter, it says that in the book of Ruth, the first chapter, it says that Ruth came from the country of Moab. But if you do some research, you'll find that the plains of Moab is the country of Moab. How do we know? Because when they talk about the country of Moab, Bamoth, what you see right there, is right below the country of Moab. Where's Bamoth located? Right beneath the plains of Moab. So the plains of Moab and the country of Moab is the same thing in the book of Ruth. Ruth came from the plains of Moab, which was in the north, which is the Reubenites' territory. So how do we know she was from the tribe of Reuben? Let me explain that. This was 300 years after this in the book of Judges. The book of Judges was written at the time of the book of Ruth. Ruth was from the plains of Moab in the north. She wasn't from the south where the actual Moabites were living. She was from the north, which was the territory of Reuben. She was born 300 years after the Reubenites took this land from the Amorites. She was born 300 years later in the territory of Reuben. She wasn't from the south where the actual Moabites were, because the Most High told us not to take the land from the Moabites, the actual land in the south. And they were scared. After we defeated the Amorites, they got scared and said, whoa, we don't want you guys to come kill us too and conquer us as well. They were scared, but we never took their land. We went around their land. So let's get the last picture, brother. So Ruth was from the territory of Reuben that we took from the Amorites, and the Amorites had taken that from the Moabites. So Ruth was from an Israelite from the tribe of Reuben, who was from the north. She was from the plains of the country of Moab. Okay. As you see again, I'll let the brother respond. You see the Amorites right above the Moabites. And we took that land from the Amorites, and Reuben took that territory. 300 years after Reuben took that territory, Ruth was born. She was born in the territory of Reuben. She wasn't actually from the actual land of Moab. She was from the land of the Reubenites that was taken from the Moabites, who the Amorites took from the Moabites. And we never went to the actual land of Moab, which you see right below the Amorites' land. And in fact, I say this in closing, the Ammonites in the book of Judges 11th chapter was sending us letters like, yo, you guys took our land as well. Well, they were lying about it. You know what I mean? They sent letters 300 years after we took it. So in closing, Ruth was from the area where the Amorites you see right there. She was from the plains of Moab, which is the country of Moab, that we took from the Amorites, the Reubenites, and then Moses gave them that land, the Reubenites that land. She wasn't from the purple land of Moab. She wasn't from there. She was from this orange land, which was with the territory of Reuben. So when she was born, we was already there for 300 years, the Reubenites, and she came from the tribe of Reuben. So that's what I had to say. I know the brother wants to respond. You on mute, brother?
All right. You sure you finished?
Oh yeah. That's all.
Okay. What you just did was you gave us a geography lesson, and you did not show Ruth was a Moabite. All you did was say the Bible says this land was taken over by the Reubenites and the Gadites, not just the Reubenites. And then you said, this is how we know she's a Reubenite. Why was she a Gadite? This is how we know she's a Reubenite, according to you, was because the Reubenites took over this territory, so therefore she was a Reubenite. That's all you said. You gave us, you wasted time giving us a synopsis. And this is what I was talking about. You talking about you wanted to watch a video, an hour-long video, which is a waste of time. So let's just get into this real simple. Now, like I told you, I'll make this real easy. I'm going to share my screen so this can be seen.
Can I say one thing, brother? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Mute your mic for 1 second. I just want to say one thing. There's two different arguments that he's going to try to make right now to prove she was a Moabite. And the book of Ruth, it says she was a Moabitess. But if you go to, it's H4125, Hebrews 4125. If you look in the blue letter Bible, it tells you that she's not an actual descendant of Lot, who was the father of Moab. Actually, it means the citizen of Moab. Because that land, the plains of Moab, which is the country of Moab, we were still calling it that. And I can prove we were still calling it that during the time of Moses. And after, it was still being called the plains of Moab, even though we had took the land. The second thing he's going to try to make a point is try to say that look in Ruth, it says that, yeah, your God is my God. But if you do some research, you find out that was interjected. Somebody put it in the text later on. I'll let the brother go in right now. But like I said, we differentiate because he doesn't use the blueletterbible.com. He uses Eastward or some kind of other technology. And he was telling me that is a reason why he doesn't use Blue Letter Bible. I guess he wants to talk about that before we get started. And I'm sorry, I yield.
Okay, you finished now?
Yeah, I'm done.
Sure. Okay. All right, so let's go back to this again. Ruth chapter 2, verse 21. And Ruth the Moabitess said, he said unto me also, thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. Right? And then it's Ruth 4 and 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, that thou must buy also of the Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. Verse 10, moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witness this day. Verse 26, 2 Chronicles 24 and 26. And these are they that conspired against him: Zabad, the son of Sheamoth, an Ammonitess, and Jehozabad, the son of Shimrith, a Moabitess. Now let me ask you a question. Let's just back out for a second. In 2 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 26, I want you to explain something to me. It says, and these are they that conspired against him: Zabad, the son of Shemeah, an Ammonitess, and it says Jehozabad, the son of Shimrith, a Moabitess. So Jehozabad, was that the son of Shimrith? Was Shimrith a Moabite, or was she a Reubenite as well?
Well, I just a straw man. I'm sorry. I think it's got to be a straw man. I'm sorry. To get my. Yeah, I think it's a straw man argument.
Hold on, listen. I didn't ask for any exegesis. I'm just asking you a question. In 2 Chronicles, right, is Shimrith, the mother of Jehozabad, is that a Moabitess, or was that a Reubenite? And was the other one an Ammonite, or is that something else, another tribe of Israel? That's why I'm asking you that. So it's either a yes or no question.
I have to look into it.
Well, that's why I got it on the screen. I'm going to post it back on the screen again. I don't need exegesis. All I need to know is, what is it? As you can see, I highlight it for you.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah. You gotta mute your mic. Okay. I think I mute your mic. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, like I said, I think this is a straw man question. I'm gonna explain why. Then I'll let him respond. In the book of Ruth, it says that he was talking to, I think a Judite, and Ruth was saying, Ruth's aunt or somebody was saying that my God is your God, my El is your El. But the word El in Hebrew can mean has multiple different definitions. It can mean
that's not the question I just asked you. See, what I'm gonna do is all the rest of Great Millstone, all the rest of these cults, I'm gonna make you stick to the topic. That's not what I just asked you. I didn't ask you for an exegesis on who was who. I asked you about this particular verse. I asked you, was that Ammonitis a real Ammonitis, and was that Moabitess a real Moabitess? That's what I asked you. I didn't ask you about exegesis on what you think I'm trying to explain. I didn't ask you for that. See, I know how to make y'all deal with the subject. So come on back home and deal with what I just asked you. Simple question. It's not a straw man argument. I'm asking a question. I'm not even presenting an argument. How is it an argument? A straw man argument. I'm asking you a question. So I'm going to put it back on the screen again. Let me mute. I'm going to put it back on the screen again. I don't want to hear your exegesis or anything else. I want you to explain to me, is this verse talking about a real Ammonite and a real Moabite? It's either yes or no. Read the verse aloud and tell me what you think.
Okay. Well, at face value, it may look like she was an actual Moabite. She could have been an Israelite. She could have not been an Israelite. I have to further look into it, but I'll say this before he responds. If you go to the Blue Letter Bible, which he doesn't like to use, which I use, if you go to H4125, it is clear. It tells you that this is and I talk about the actual Moabites. This is a citizen of Moab, not an actual descendant of Lot, who was the father of the Moabites and the Ammonites, because his daughter slept with him and made the Moabites and the Ammonites. If you look in the Blue Letter, it tells you clearly this is not an actual Moabite. This is a citizen of Moab. Somebody who's a citizen.
Okay, hold on. So you don't have an answer, right? For the question I asked you. Because if you don't have a question, then it's not your turn to talk. If you can't answer the question, I didn't ask you about all the other stuff. It's not your turn to talk. I asked you a specific question, which you just admitted live that you couldn't answer. You don't know, right?
I have to look into it. I'm not going to make one.
That's why I just posted the chapter and verse. So let's do it like this. What I'm showing you on this screen right now, let me know if you can see it. This is Strong's Concordance. This is the Strong's. Read that definition for me for Hebrew 4125.
I'm gonna put screenshot. I'll read. You just clicked it out. You had it. It was up. Patronymic, a Moabite, a descendant from Moab. Yeah, now, it does say that in your dictionary, but in the blue letter, it doesn't say that. It's just something quite different.
Stop. I asked you to read the entire definition. Start from the top. Let the people know what Hebrew 4125 is. Read the definition. See, I don't need your exegesis. I told you from the beginning. You've been dodging this definition. This is in your Strong's Concordance. This is in the Strong's. So tell me, please. Now, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. I'll do it. If all of a sudden now you don't know how to read, I'll read it.
I'll read it. Just mute your mic. All right. So this is H4125. H stands for Hebrew. The word A, the letter H there just means Hebrew 4125. Patronymic from H4124. A Moabite, a Moabitess. It is a descendant of Moab. Woman of Moab. Moabite is total KJV occurrences. It's in there 16 times. So if you don't mind, brother, not to cut you off, can you go to the Blue Letter Bible and read H4125 for us, please? Because in the Blue Letter Bible, it doesn't say that. And I checked it out myself.
That would be your job to do. See, listen, I don't work for you. Like I keep telling you, and I know exactly why. I know the agenda behind the blue letter, but I don't even have to go there. What you just read, did you just not read that it's an actual descendant of Moab? And it's used 16 other times, and I got all 16. I got all the times it's used, and it's never a Reubenite. So did you just read that a Moabitess is a descendant of Moab? Yes or no?
In your version, yes, but in the blue letter, it doesn't say that.
Stop. Listen, stop. I don't have a version. I didn't write this. This is the Strong's Concordance. Anyone that, if you have a Strong's Concordance, you, brother, you can go and look in the Strong's and tell me what you see. I didn't write anything. You keep talking about my version. I didn't write it. It's right there for you again.
Let me ask you a question.
Stop. It's from Hebrew 4124. So when you go back up to 4124, what does it say? Moab, from a prolonged form of the prepositional prefix M and H1, from her mother, father, Moab, an incestuous son of Lot, also his territory and descendants. Moab. So now, 4125.
Also his what?
412 and descendants. That's why when you go to Ruth chapter, let me get it again for you, because it seems like people don't know how to pay attention now. In Ruth chapter 2, verse 21, it is Hebrew 4125. You see it there. I put my cursor over it. It's not 4124. It is, and it says a descendant from Moab. It doesn't say territory in 4125 because they're trying to be specific. And when you go to Ruth chapter 4, verse 5, guess what? Ruth the Moabitess, 4125, a descendant from Moab. And guess what? It's not just there. It's all throughout the book. When you go to Ruth chapter 1, verse 22, the very first chapter. So Naomi returned and Ruth the Moabitess, Hebrew 4125. Not 4124, 4125. Ruth chapter 2, verse 2, and Ruth the Moabitess, 4125. And guess what? 2 and 21, 4125. 4 and 5, 4125. 4 and 10. 4125. It's that. Now, I'm not even done. Like I said, it ain't even your turn to talk. So now let's go look at this. Let's go look at this. Because, like I said, this is what happens for people that don't know how to read and don't know how to get things handled. In 2 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 26. Well, let's go to 25, and I'll show you. It says, and when they departed from him, for they left him in great diseases, his own servant conspired against him for the blood of his sons, of Jehoiada the priest, and slew him on his bed, and he died. And they buried him in the city of David, but they buried him not in the sepulchre of the kings. Verse 26, and these are they that conspired against him: Zabad, the son of Shimeah, an Ammonitess, and Jehozabad, the son of Shimrith, a Moabitess. And guess what word is there? 4125. And it's talking about a real Moabite. That's why in that same verse, the context, it says an Ammonitess. You see that? The Hebrew 5984, Ammoni, an Ammonite, Ammonitish, Ammonite, 22 times used. Now, that's not an Israelite, is it? They're brothers. Ammon and Moab are brothers. And this is why you see one of them conspired and killed the king. That's why I asked you. I said, hey, is this verse talking about a Moabite or a Reubenite? Because we got an Ammonite in that verse too. Now, what tribe is the Ammonite from all of a sudden? Since y'all want to get all technical and slick. But I'm not done then. I'll go down. What does his name mean? Now, you want to talk about maps. I'll show you how to do this. Meaning in history means of his father in Hebrew. In the Old Testament, this is the name of the son of Lot. He was called the ancestor of the Moabites, a people who lived in the region called Moab to the east of Israel. Now, let's look at the map. Kingdom of Israel, as you can see here, to the east. North is at the top, east is to the right, south is to the bottom, west is to the left. You can easily remember by saying never eat soggy waffles. Okay? So when you come right down here, as you can see, the kingdom of Moab. Now, when you go back up, right here, Jerash, because in the book it's going to tell you to the east of Jericho. Don't worry about it. I got the verses right here. And that's just dealing with Balaam, a Mesopotamian prophet, because I'm going to show you the Gentiles can be saved because the Gentiles all throughout history have been following Yah. You just don't read the book because you're in a cult. But let me go down. If you go right here, Numbers 26 and 63. These are they that were numbered by Moses and Eleazar the priest, who numbered the children of Israel in the plains of Moab by Jordan near Jericho. So let's go down to the map. Where's Jericho? And that place right there is what? It says, look at Joshua 13 and 32. These are the country which Moses did distribute for inheritance in the plains of Moab on the other side of Jordan by Jericho, eastward to the east. So let's go back up to the first map and we're going to see what's east of Jericho. As you can see here, Jericho is on the west side of the river. This thing right here, just in case you don't know, all of this seam coming down the center here. Let me pull my stylus out of my laptop. This whole center coming right here, this is the river, okay? And you see Jericho right here. You see do you see my cursor circling Jericho? The east is on the other side of the river. That's to the east. So when you go up to the east, it's the same thing. It's on the east side. So the point I brought up was when you go to Ruth chapter 1, in the Strong's Concordance, I'll bring it up again. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Yehudah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. That's the plains of Moab, that the land Reuben, the territory Reuben took. He and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon, Chilon, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Yehudah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. This is the territory that Yah, through Moshe, gave Reuben. Now, once again, what is a descendant? Because we looked at the definition, Hebrew 4125, it says a descendant from Moab. So when I go back up top, I got the definition right here for you. What is a descendant? Person, plant, or animal that is descended from a particular ancestor. Synonym, successor, scion. Do you see that? I think we all know what a descendant is. There's no such thing as a fake descendant until you start dealing with JC in the New Testament. So as I just said, Ruth chapter 1 verse 22, Ruth is called a Moabitess 4125. That is a descendant from Moab. Not a Reubenite. From Moab. What does the word from mean? And it's not even talking about the land, because people don't descend from land, son. That's why I gave you the word descendant, a person, plant, or animal that is descended from a particular ancestor. Not talking about land, Hebrew 4125. So when you go down again, right here, patronymic, from Hebrew 4124, a Moabite or Moabitess, that is a descendant from Moab. Woman of Moab. Moabite-ish is. Moabitess. You see that? That ish in the SS is showing Moabitish, Moabitess. Moabi. Moabi. And you look at 1:22, 2 and 2, 2 and 21, 4 and 5, 4 and 10. Guess what? 2 Chronicles 24:26, it uses the same word. Moabitess, descendant from Moab. That's why I knew you tried to call it, you tried to get out of it, but you was trying to bring up in the beginning that whole situation dealing with was Ruth, David, Ruth being a Moabite, can't enter the congregation. That's why you were trying to bring it up, but you knew I was going to smash that. That's easy work because Ruth is a woman. She can't be a priest anyway. She does not enter the congregation, but the children from Boaz, who was an Israelite, they do enter the congregation because they're the seed of their father. We just had this discussion on a couple of videos ago. What is an Israelite? One born of the sperm or zarah, Hebrew zarah, seed, offspring of a male Israelite. Now, all of a sudden, Boaz is an Israelite man. He puts his seed in a Moabite woman. That child is an Israelite. So Ruth is the great-grandmother of Dawid. Dawid got with Bathsheba. Bathsheba was not an Israelite. She was married to what? Uriah the Hittite. What is a Hittite? That is not an Israelite, son. So what did she do? She married Uriah the Hittite. He married Uriah the Hittite wife, Bathsheba. Solomon's mother was not an Israelite. But Solomon was able to reign on the throne. Why? Because his father David was an Israelite. It's from the seed of the father. Just why when you went back to Ezra chapter 2, not second Ezra, but Ezra chapter 2, what did he say? They didn't find their genealogy by records. So they had from the priesthood, all the priests of men, son, genealogy. Again, the man bloodline. So as you see, I didn't write the Strong's Concordance. It was here, probably before I got here. This is not my version. I can pull my concordance off the bookshelf and give it to you in book form too. I didn't type this. I'll show it to you. I'll prove it to you. When I go into the word Bible books right here, and I go down, right here, to the book of Ruth, chapter 1. And then it goes, and then I show the Bible. This is Ruth chapter 1. And it shows you right here. Okay? Now watch when you go down. I didn't write this. This is the actual Bible. The Moabitess 4125. I didn't copy and paste that. Well, I did for my notes, but my copious notes, but that's in the actual Strong Concordance. So don't take it up with, like I said, and then you only showed a map of where Israelites took over land from the Amorites. They used to be former Moabite territory. You never proved Ruth was a Moabite. You used conjecture, and you tried to use the maps to take the information from show me Ruth. I gave you a definition in Hebrew that said she was a descendant of a Moabite bloodline. You haven't given me anything like that. You haven't even given me a chapter or verse that says she was a Reubenite or an Israelite. You're only using conjecture on maps, which the book explains those maps. Why do you, like I told you from the beginning, why do you think I have those maps? Because I knew what you was going to pull. We discussed this when I was on my way to Atlanta early this year. As you can see, all of this. This was, I did this in like 10 minutes. Doesn't take long. As you can see, Joshua 13:32, these are the countries where Moses did distribute for inheritance in the plains of Moab on the side of Jordan by Jericho eastward. Now watch this here. I'll do one better for you. I give you a modern map with the modern name, Kurok. The land of Moab, Jeremiah 48:24, also called the country of Moab. Plains, country. It's the same word. If you look up the word country and plains, they're synonyms. Ruth chapter 1, verse 2, Ruth chapter 1, verse 6, Ruth chapter 2, verse 6. On the east of Jordan and the Dead Sea, the south of the Ammon, Numbers chapter 21:13, Numbers 21:26. In a wider sense, it included the whole region that had been occupied by the Amorites. It bears the modern name Kurok. In the plains of Moab, opposite Jericho, the children of Israel had their last encampment before they entered the land of Canaan. It was the land of Moab according to the word of the Lord. Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 5, Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 6. And here's a map down here for you, showing you modern day where Kurok is. As you can see, that's Kurok. And as you go down, here's another map for you. Like I said, we can do this all day long. You keep talking about maps. You're only showing maps, and you're just substantiating what I don't disagree with the map. The book says exactly that's why the map is there. But you haven't shown. Give me a chapter and a verse that says Ruth was a Moabite. I mean, an Israelite, a Reubenite. Give it to me. Don't give me conjecture. Give me a chapter and a verse that says Ruth was a Moabite. That's all I'm waiting for.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Gonna beat your mouth. So what the brother didn't do, he didn't substantiate anything. And he has a serious problem here because Segub, who was a guy in the Old Testament from the tribe of Judah, was being called by his mother's tribe. Now, we talked about this. Now, you have to reconcile that. Before you reconcile that,
hold on, stop. See, what you just did was you just lied. You just bear false witness and you just lied. You said I didn't substantiate anything. I didn't write Strong's Concordance. I just gave everybody to see the Strong Concordance Hebrew 4125 says a descendant of Moab. I didn't write that. You haven't. Right. Oh, stop. Because you lied. You just lied. You haven't. Listen, the only thing you did was show a map and say, we took over this land. The Reubenites lived here and took over the land. The topic is not, did the Reubenites take over the land? The topic is, was Ruth a Moabite? Give me a chapter and a verse that says Ruth, the Reubenite. Give me a chapter. You see how I just gave you a definition that says she was a descendant of Moab? A descendant. I gave you the word descendant. I gave you the definition for descendant. I gave you the Hebrew word for Moabitess. I did all of that. See, now what you're doing is you're lying because you have nothing. How do I know it? Because I know the book better than you do. I know the book better than you do. You have nothing. There is no chapter and verse that says Ruth was a Reubenite or Ruth was an Israelite. Now watch this here. I'll make this real easy. I just gave you data showing she was a descendant of Moab. You do the same and show me she was an Israelite. Give me any verse. Give me any verse that says she was. I'll wait. I don't want to listen. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear no conjecture. I don't want to hear about another person because I'm not letting you off this. See, I'm very good at this. I'm very good at busting up y'all idolaters. So I'm very good at this. I don't want to hear nothing else about nobody else. We're dealing with Ruth. Stick to the topic. Show me Ruth in the book that she's an Israelite, a Reubenite. Show it to me. If you can't, you have to yield and you have to, carry your own cross because you've been crucified. Now, listen, I'm asking very clearly. You said she's an Israelite. Show me a chapter and verse that she's an Israelite. And if you do that, guess what? Everything's cool. But I just gave you the word. The Bible was written in Hebrew. And the word used there was what? The Moabitess was what? Moabite, right? And it means what? A descendant of Moab. It doesn't mean a person living in a land. It doesn't mean a citizen. Because what? Listen, stop. Hold on, stop. Okay, you know what? I'll trap you even better. I'll show you why I'm good at this shit. I'll show you why I'm good at it. Show me watch this. Show me another Reubenite being called a Moabite besides Ruth. Now, if you can do that, you got a point. If you can't do that, then you're grasping at straws. So show me another Reubenite living in that territory that was called a Moabite. I'm waiting. Because it can't just be Ruth. If that was so common practice for Israelites to be called Moabites, which is ridiculous in itself, we know the land was called the land of Moab, but the children of Israel were still going by their father's house. So if you was a Reubenite, you was a Reubenite. So show me another Israelite, anybody. Hold on, stop. Why didn't it call Boaz a Moabite? Why? Why did it go through the genealogy to show you that he's from the tribe of Yehudah? Why? But it didn't do that for Ruth. It didn't say a daughter of Reuben. It didn't do that. So show me another Israelite in that land that's called a Moabite. I guarantee you can't do it. This is why I'm good at it. Now, I don't want to hear no conjecture. The offer has been on the table. Show me another Israelite called a Moabite. Because you can't just give me one. If this is something so widespread as you're claiming, then you should have multiple examples. But you don't. Because Ruth is not an example either. She's a Moabitess, a descendant of Moab. Now I'm waiting. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing about we're dealing with Ruth. So show me another example of another Israelite being called a Moabite.
Can you mute your mic, please? All right. Like I said, I'm not just speaking to him here. I'm not just speaking about Zeki. I'm also speaking to the audience. So the people need to know. Zeki's got a serious problem here. Because Segub in the Old Testament is from the tribe of Judah. On his father's side, but on his mother's side, he's being called by his mother's tribe. That's why Numbers says that if a father doesn't have a son, the inheritance passes through the mother. One more thing, Timothy in the New Testament, his father was called the Greek, but we know his father was an Israelite. So he was being called the Greek because he lived in Greece. So that's now, as far as to answer his question, H4125. Hold on, let me finish.
Hold on. Listen, stop. You just said I had a serious problem. First off, Timothy ain't got nothing to do with this because listen, that's a whole nother. See, what you're doing is you're deflecting. I just asked you for two basic things. Listen, for you to tell me Ruth is an Israelite, you have to show she's an Israelite.
I'm not going to prove it.
Hold on, cutting me off. Do you know what the word conjecture means?
Yes.
Do you know what the word conjecture means? I'll show you. Check this out. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. An opinion or conclusion formed on the basis of incomplete information. You haven't shown anybody being called a Moabite that was an Israelite. You haven't shown Ruth being called an Israelite. That's called conjecture, son. See, now you want to run to another. Listen, I'll deal with that too, because I'll chop you up on that as well. But all this idolatry is about to stop tonight. I told you. See, now you want to start banning false witness saying I'm lying. The video is here. Everybody see the video. I just gave the definitions. I gave them the strong number. We read what it meant. We went inside the definition and looked up words in the definition to see it's talking about bloodline, ancestry, descendant of Moab. The word descendant means ancestry. I gave all the synonyms for descendant. You haven't shown. Now, it just told you that this guy, Boaz, was a Yehudite, and he was living in the land of Moab. Why I didn't call him a Moabite? See, you have the problem because you have incomplete information. That's why you pull the maps, because the maps ain't got nothing to do with it. We know the land was called the land of Moab, even when Reuben was living there. But that ain't got nothing to do with who Ruth is. Just like America. I'm an Israelite, but America ain't got nothing to do with me being an Israelite or not. That's simple. See, you're trying to go with land because the land was called the land of Moab. Oh, but Israelites was living there. Okay, fine. Show me where Ruth was a Moabite.
We're about to do that now.
Okay. Listen, you would have been there if you could. Listen, I got a lot of ways. This is Connect 4. I got you 2 ways.
All right. I'm ready to respond now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Mute your mic, please.
Now, listen. Don't go on no side topics because I'm going to interrupt you again. Now, listen. If you want to deal with that Segul thing, we can deal with that too. But after you forfeit, then we'll deal with that. I'll clean that up for you real quick too. So now, I don't want to hear no side conversations. We're dealing with Ruth being a Moabite, and you're proving Ruth was a Moabite.
Okay, like I was saying, I believe she was Reubenite. I'm going to prove that. If you go to Deuteronomy chapter 3, I believe, when we came out of Egypt, we went up through the land of the Amorites. The Amorites refused to let us pass through, and we defeated them in battle. And if you go to Deuteronomy 3, here's the point. It tells you we took no prisoners. The only thing we took was cattle. We didn't take any physical prisoners.
But it also told us not to kill a Moabite, right? And not to siege them, right?
Here's you got a serious issue as well. Zephaniah tells you that. Oh, let's get that. Before I get that.
Zephaniah's son is later on, son. Hold on. What century did Zephaniah prophesy?
So when did the Most High say this was tentative? Meaning we couldn't take it in the future. We couldn't take it at that point, but we could take it in the future.
What do you mean? Stop. Let's deal with this real quick. The same way, and listen. See, now you want to play semantics, but it don't matter.
Hold on. Let me reconcile. Hold on. Let me say one thing. I'll let you respond. Let me get back on point. Let me go back. We go to Zephaniah where it tells you we're going to take the Moabites' land. The Most High told us. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. When we came out of Egypt, the Most High told us to go around the land of Moab. So we didn't take the land of Moab. So when Ruth was born, she was born 300 years after the Reubenites took the land from the Amorites. There were no Moabites there, and we took no captives of the Amorites. They all got wiped out. Same thing happened in the land of Bashan up north. So when Ruth was being born in the land of the Reubenites, which is the land of the Amorites, the Moabites had before the Amorites, there was 300 years after, and Reuben already had that territory for 300 years. So Ruth came from the plains of Moab. So you got to prove if she was from the land of Reuben, how's she a Moabite?
Stop. Listen, I already proved that, son. I just gave you the Hebrew word they used. I didn't write the Hebrew word. The prophets did. I didn't write it. See, that's what you're not understanding. I didn't write Ruth chapter 1 or chapter 2 or chapter 4. I didn't write it. Our ancestors wrote it, and they used the word what? Descendant of Moab. I didn't write that. See, you got a problem with the author of the book of Ruth, not me, because I didn't write it. I'm not the prophet. See, listen, the burden of proof is on you. See, you still trying to go back to, Ruth was in his land. Look, I'll say it again. In that same chapter, does it not say that don't harm the Moabites? Yes or no? Don't siege them. Does it say that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so they couldn't mess with any Moabites. The Amorites took that land from what people?
The Moabites.
And Yah told them not to mess with who? The Israelites not to mess with who?
The Moabites.
When a people take a land for a people, they're under tribute. Do you agree with that? Or do I need to go through all the history of the world and show you how America took the Caucasian, pale face, took America from the Native American Indians, right? I can go to Africa. I can go anywhere on this globe. I can go to Australia, how those people from the British came over there and took the land from the Aborigines, correct? I can go up, wherever you want to go, bro. This is easy. I can show you how the Greeks came in and took the land from who? The Israelites. I can show you how the Romans came in and took the lands from who? These Israelites, right? I can show you all this different history. You don't argue with that at all. So now, the Most High in that same chapter told the children of Israel, don't besiege who?
Okay, let's go to Zephaniah 2:8-9 real quick.
Stop. What year did Zephaniah prophesy? Because what we're dealing with right now is 1400 to 1360 BCE. You do realize that, right? See, I told you, you're not dealing with an amateur, son. You're dealing with the Exodus. When Moshe came out, 1400 BCE, 40 years in the wilderness, 60 BCE. Zephaniah, what year did he prophesy? Tell me. Because see that's what you're doing. You're trying to skip over almost 1,000 years. You're not dealing with it, and you know this. I don't even know why you're even tripping. You know you ain't dealing with no slacky. What year did Zephaniah prophesy? And I'm going to show you how absurd what you're finna do is. Now, if you don't know, just say I don't know.
Go ahead, give us the year, please.
So you don't know.
Listen, I got all the dates in front of me. I got everybody's dates. Deuteronomy, Zephaniah, Malachi. I got everybody's dates right in front of me.
Okay. So, and that's what the question I asked you was, Zephaniah, what year did he prophesy?
I got the scrolls right here with all the dates in.
That's fine. That's why I'm asking you, son. What year did he prophesy?
1 second. Let me get it right now.
If I say what, that's a question. What year did Zephaniah prophesy? And what year did the Exodus take place? And then subtract that, and you'll see how many years you got.
Okay, sorry about that, but I have it, brothers and sisters. I have to go inside the scrolls. I have everybody's date here. That's 635 BCE.
Okay, so what year did the children of Israel come out of Egypt?
What was that, 1446? I could be mistaken. I think it's around 1446.
No. What year did they come out of Egypt?
I have it here, but if you don't forget dates, go ahead. I know Zephaniah was 635 BCE. That's Zephaniah. Zephaniah. Okay. 635 BC.
Let's just do it like this here. If you take that 600 plus years and subtract it from 1400 years, how many years do you have?
I don't have a calculator in front of me. If you have the number, just go ahead.
Well, it's basic math.
Sorry, but I have the chat room open and I'm on my iPhone at the same time. I don't want to click out on that.
You don't need a calculator for that, son. You're looking at close to 800 years, right?
No problem.
Okay, so you just took, and for you to prove something, you just jumped 800 years in the future. You don't see a problem with that.
So what did the Most High say? Okay, you can't take it now, but you can take it later.
Listen, stop. When the children of Israel came out of Egypt, the Most High told them then, because they had no land, and they were looking for land. They were going around. You asked, right? They were going around pushing apartheid. You know what apartheid is, right? They was going around wiping lands out and people out. That's what you're reading about right here. The Amorites got wiped out, right? That were living in that land. Just the Amorites in that land right there. Okay? So they were going around wiping people out. They were looking for land. They were going into the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan. They were going into the land of Canaan. All of that land. That's why you see Reuben there. That's why above it you see different tribes. You see Manasseh up above it to the north, right? Northeast. Okay. So when these people are coming into the land, the Most High say, don't besiege them. Now stop. The Most High did the same thing to Esau. He said, thou shalt not abhor thy brother. Thou shalt not hate an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Yes or no?
Let's debate if the word Edom should be there or should they say the Syrian.
Stop. If we go into Hebrew, what word is there? You have no translation that says Syria. Now,
because it says if you go, I got it.
Okay, name the translation.
It's BibleHub.com. It tells you when you look, it says it's a clerical error. The word there should be Syrian. I don't want to argue that though. Let's say it means Edom. I don't want to argue that right now.
Okay, so Edom, and listen, if you say Syrian, Edom is the brother of Jacob. Jacob is a Syrian as well. It's the same thing. See, you can't get around it because Esau would be a Syrian as well. He has a twin brother, Jacob, and Isaac and Abraham are Syrians.
No, that's why it says two. It says two manners of nations to be in your womb. Two different nations.
Listen, bro. Listen, stop. Yeah, two manner of nations. They're going to be two different nations of people. They're not two bloodlines, son. They got the same mom and daddy. They're not two bloodlines. A nation came from his loins, but they are blood brothers. They're twins.
Can we go to Zephaniah 2 and 8 through 9 real quick?
Go ahead. Oh.
Screenshot that. I'll read it. Like I said, we talk all the time, but this is for the people who are listening. Because we talk about this stuff all the time. We go back and forth all the time.
No, we don't really go back and forth. You just be hard-headed.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So now, watch this here. Now, if you look at, I'm going to share my screen and look at the title in the KJV, okay? Look at the title in the KJV.
I'm going to say one more thing before you screenshot that. The Moabites were afraid. After we took the land of the Amorites, we were going to conquer them as well. They were afraid. Go ahead.
Of course. And Yah told us not to, right?
Well, let's see what Yah told us in Zephaniah 2 and 8 through 9.
Zephaniah is almost 800 years later, son. See,
so the Most High changed his mind because he said don't take Moab's territory.
No,
that means he changed his mind.
Hold on, stop. When you go in that verse, did he say don't you ever take their land forever? Did he use the Hebrew word olam?
Let's get that. Let's go there. Let's go to that. First, we'll go to Zephaniah 2 and 9. Then we're going to go to the scripture in Deuteronomy that tells us we must take the land of Moab.
All right, let's go. Verse 9.
So now verse 8.
I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revilings of the children of Ammon, whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border. Therefore, as I live, said Yah of hosts, the strong one of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom and the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them.
Right. So in the KJV, it says, a remnant of my people shall possess them. If you read it in the New Living, it tells you we're going to take their land. And if you want me to prove that, I'll get it.
Stop. Listen. With the New Living Translation, I'm going to ask you this simple question. And if you can't answer it, then just be quiet. What translation was it translated from?
The same translation as the KJV, the NIV, the ESV.
It can't. No, see, now what you're doing is now listen, I can prove you wrong. You want me to do that?
Hold on, we're going to look at it in the, hold on one second, brother. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we're going to look at it in the New Living real quick. 1 second. I'm going to prove it. It says we're going to take their land. We're going to take the actual land. Now, the Most High told us not to take their land, right? So let's
say what now? Real quick. No, it did not say. He did not say don't take their land. He said don't besiege them. What does the word besiege mean? See, like I told you, you listen, you need to go back and read. That's the problem. You're not reading. He said don't.
One second, but I'm getting it right now. Sorry about that to cut you off. Hold on 1 second. I got the actual version where it says we're going to take the land. Because the King James written in Old English, sometimes it's hard to understand.
You know what? This is for while you're doing that, this is for everybody that's listening. Why in the hell would we take their land when it just told you it's the breeding of nettles, salt pits, and a perpetual desolation? Now watch this here. What are nettles? Hebrew 2:7-8. It says what? Meaning to be prickly, thorny weeds. Weeds kill plant life, son. You can't grow crops with weeds. And it says, and salt pits. You know what salt do, right?
Right. Okay, I got it. It's in the New Living Translation. Just go ahead and I'll read it.
You say what now?
I'm sorry. I'm back, guys. Sorry about that.
You still haven't told the people where this New Living Translation was translated from.
The Leningrad Codex. Go to hold on. Go to the New Living Translation. I'll read it.
No, I'm not. I don't have that. I'm not going there. Listen, this is your job. You want me to do something for you? Listen, you're supposed to be bringing this.
Like I said, I'm on my cell phone and I'm on my laptop at the same time. I don't want to click out and stop the broadcast.
You don't have to click out. You can read it. If you read it wrong, the people gonna know you're lying. They looking at the video, they gonna watch it. This ain't no one take thing. They gonna watch it. I'm sure the people are studious enough to know. Let me see if what I said is true and what you said is true. Trust me, they're studious enough to know that.
Okay, no problem. I mean, you're reflecting now, but I'll read it.
I'm not reflecting anything. I don't have that. I don't use, like I told you, that's you pulling something that is a new translation, and you couldn't tell me what you said. Leningrad.
Okay. Zephaniah 2. This is the New Living Translation. It says, "Now surely as I live, saith the Lord of Heaven's armies." The Lord's name is Yahweh in Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. The correct way to pronounce the Most High's name is Yahweh.
Okay, and the power. You're gonna have to prove that as well. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
go
it
ahead.
says the God of Israel, Moab and Ammon will be destroyed as completely as Sodom and Gomorrah. The land will become a place of stinging nettles, salt pits, and eternal desolation. Here's the point: the remnant of my people will plunder them and take their land.
Now stop. Ask yourself. It just told you that the land will. Read that part again. That's future tense. Read it again.
The land will become a place. A place of stinging nettles, salt pits, and eternal desolation.
Okay. So when it says "will be," is that future tense or present tense?
Future.
Okay. So at this moment when this was written, it wasn't, right? It will be, right? Future tense, right? So what will it be?
Become a place of stinging nettles, salt pits, and an eternal desolation.
Okay, now stop. Nettles is what? Thorns, weeds. A bramble, to be prickly, from the Hebrew word karu. Weeds, you can't grow anything with weeds. That's why if you know anything about gardening, which I do, then you know that weeds kill flowers. They kill vegetation. So you ain't
about the courses here.
Then the next one says, and salt pits. Do you know that salt, that the Romans would salt the earth and nothing would grow there? Do you know that salt, you can't grow crops with salt? You know that, right? And then it says a what kind of desolation?
Eternal.
If it's an eternal desolation, how the hell are people there? Because here's the Hebrew word for desolation. Hebrew 8077. Devastation. Then it says figuratively from the Hebrew word shemama, right? Figuratively, astonishment, laid most desolate waste. Okay, now watch this here. I'm sharing my screen. I like doing this. Let's type in the word desolate and let's see what we get.
And FYI, I didn't make it.
Stop. It says of a place deserted of people, deserted of. Now, how they gonna take over the land and it's deserted of people? The word desolate means deserted of people. And in a state of bleak and dismal emptiness. Then it says, make bleakly, depressingly empty or bare, meaning there's nothing growing there. There's salt pits, there's thorns and thistles there. And it says it's a desolate place. How long? Forever. The Hebrew word there is what? Olam. Is it not? Hit it right here. The word perpetual, Hebrew 5769, Olam. Eternity. Without end. Do you see that? So how can a place be desolate with nobody there? Because that's what the word desolate means. Remember when in the book of Daniel, it said the abomination of desolation? When they put the pig in the altar, that means nobody was in there because the pig is unclean. That's what desolate means, son. It don't mean people still hanging around. But it said what? Desolate. Perpetual desolate, meaning forever. The version you just read said forever. So how can they be in the land that don't grow nothing? Why would you possess a land that can't grow nothing? That's filled with thorns and thistles, salt pits. And it's going to be, it's prophesied by a prophet of Yah to be eternally desolate, bare. See, this is the problem with those translations y'all read. But you know what it is? Y'all don't understand words. Y'all read things and don't know what words mean. Like you don't know what the word desolate mean, or desolation, or perpetual. You don't know what these things mean, so you get tricked. Now you explain to me right now, and the people listening right now, I want you to explain to us right now. Explain to me right now. Explain to these good people right now listening how this place is desolate, thorns and thistles, and it has salt pits all over it, and it's going to be perpetually made bare or desolate forever, perpetual, Hebrew olam. In your, it says forever desolate. Doesn't it say forever?
You go. I clicked up, but it says we would inherit. We were going to plunder them and take their land. Take it over to the Living Translation. I didn't write it.
Well, listen, I'm not. Listen, the new translation, Living Translation, is using words that mean nobody's there to say somebody's going to be there. Now you take that up with the laws of grammatical English, the laws of grammar.
Well, I'll say this in response to that. Like this movie called with Will Smith. I can't remember the name of it. He was in New York City. He was a.
It wasn't. You talk about the movie I Am Legend. That
I'm Legend.
Desolate.
Yeah. That was desolate.
It wasn't desolate. It had.
Well, here's the point. No, let me say one thing. He was the only man. He was the only actual human that was there. But there were animals. But after you don't inhabit the land for a while, what happens is it gets overran. It gets the grass gets too high. That's why you have a lawnmower. You have a lawnmower if you live in a suburban area because the grass will get too high. Everything becomes to get unkept.
But hold on. But what did the prophet say? He didn't say nothing about grass. He said what? He said thistles, thorns and thistles, prickly thorns and thistles, salt pits, forever desolate. He didn't say anything about I Am Legend. He didn't see the movie I Am Legend. See, you're grasping. What does the word desolate? I'll tell you what. How about this? How about this? What does the word desolate mean?
You just read it, like the abomination of desolation. Like I was going to bring that up actually after you.
No, I understand that. But I'm asking you, what does it mean? Because you're telling me people are going to rule and live in a place that's desolate. What does the word desolate mean?
It's using figurative speech. You're taking it literal. It's using figurative speech.
Stop. So if it's figurative, now if you're making this figurative now, then that means the people aren't real because it's figurative. So you can't make this figurative, and then the subject of this whole verse, these two verses are figurative as well. That means it's not a real Ammonite, it's not a real Moabite, it's not their real land. That's what the word figurative means, son. Let me show you. You want to see it?
I'm gonna prove the word desolate in the Bible doesn't always mean it's literally
desolate.
That's not what I'm gonna prove that.
Okay, but listen, I just gave you the Hebrew word desolate for that. See, listen what I'm saying. See, I think now you may start to understand it a little bit. When you look at the word desolate, you're correct. The word desolate has multiple meanings. But the word right there that was used by the prophets, it does not mean people are still there. That's why I gave you the word for it. I gave you the Hebrew word. Our ancestors wrote this. And they were, listen, they're prophets. Yah is telling them what's going to happen. They're not messing this up. Because this is Yah talking through them. You agree with that, right? Zephaniah was a prophet, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so who is talking through Zephaniah?
The master, Hashem, the Most High.
So if the Most High is talking through Zephaniah, then he's telling Zephaniah to say, this place is going to be desolate, bare, forever, salt pits, thorns, and thistles. That's what he said. I didn't write it. See, you're trying to listen, what you're doing is you're arguing with Zephaniah now. Zephaniah know what he wrote because he know what the Most High told him. Now you're telling me the word desolate doesn't always mean empty of people. Correct. But in that verse it does, because that's the word they used.
Can you give us some examples of how the Bible used the word desolate? Because
listen, I give you one better than that. I'll show it to you.
Give us some. Yeah.
Okay, so check this out. Let's just type in the word desolate, right? Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Like I said, the word desolate doesn't always mean literally desolate. And I know the brother agrees with that, obviously.
You say what now?
I said, obviously, you agree with me that the word desolate doesn't always mean literally desolate.
Listen, son. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Genesis 47:19. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. The Hebrew word here is what? What is the Hebrew word here for desolate?
Yasham.
Yasham, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, right? You see that? Hebrew 3, 4, 5, 6?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now watch this here. What word is that? Shemama. Hebrew 8077, son. Now, you just asked me to show you proof of the word desolate, desolation being used, right? So watch this here. I'm going to go back. Let's see. So check this out. Let's do it again.
And can I say one thing while you're looking for that?
It's already here. There it is again. So now, check this out. Now, when you go to Exodus chapter 23, verse 29, he says, I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate. That's the same one he used over in Zephaniah, when he was saying, if I drive all of the animals and stuff, the people out, the land will become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. See that? Hebrew 8077. You see that? That's the same one as Zephaniah, showing you that if the land is desolate, there are no people there. Because if you go to Exodus chapter 23, let's see what he's talking about. Is he not talking about driving out the Canaanites? Let's look. Let's see. It says, I'm going to start at verse 27. Exodus 23, 27, Shemot, I will send my fear before thee and will destroy all the people whom thou shalt come, and I will make all thy enemies turn their backs unto thee. Verse 28, and I will send the hornet before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite and the Canaanite and the Hittite from before thee. Verse 29, I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, meaning I'm not going to do it. It's a gradual process. He says, lest the land become desolate. What does that Hebrew 8077 say? Desolate, devastation, waste, nobody there. How do we know it? And the beasts of the field multiply against who? Thee, Israel. So if I drive all the Israelites, all the Canaanites out, then guess what? The animals are going to come against us. The wild animals will take it over and come against us. So that's showing you two different words for desolate. But watch this here, verse 30. By little and little will I drive them out from before thee until thou be increased and inherit the land. So see, he didn't make the land desolate because he left some of the Canaanites in and he drove them out little by little. So we take over a little land, then we drive a little bit more out. So the land was never desolate. Hebrew 80 what? Hebrew 8077. Now, are you satisfied with that word? I just gave you two desolates, right? Shemama, right? And this is what I just did? Huh?
Yeah, I'm here. Yep.
Okay, and then I gave you the other Hebrew word, which is Hebrew 3, 4, 5, 6, which is Yasham, right? Now, Yasham and Shemama are two different words. And they have two different connotations. And you know how to apply that word to it based on the context of the verse, son. So you just went to Zephaniah for nothing because your NLT is garbage, because Yah just showed you that word 8077 really means that. Now watch this here.
Like I said, brothers and sisters, you can make your own decision. The New Living says that we're gonna
ain't no decisions to make. See, that's where people get in trouble, because that's idolatry. When you face with the truth and then you want to be right instead of just flowing with what Yah said and with the truth, that's what get us in trouble. That's why you on the fence right now. And listen, I just gave you another one for desolate. Hebrew 8074, Shamain. See that? Primitive root to stun, or intransitively grow numb, that is devastate or figuratively stupefy. To be destitute, destroy, lie, lay waste, wonder. But watch here in this verse, it says, I will also send the wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children and destroy your cattle and make you few in number, and your highways shall be desolate. That's three words for desolate I just gave you. Now, when you go to Leviticus 26:33, same chapter, and I will scatter you among the heathen and will draw out the sword out through you, and your land shall be desolate and your cities waste. Guess what? When we went into the Babylonian captivity, who was living in the land?
Who was that?
When we went into the Babylonian captivity, who was living in the land? Nobody. Remember, he says, then the land shall enjoy its Shabbats. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, I pulled that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Verse 34. Then shall the land enjoy her Shabbats as long as it lieth desolate, and ye be in your enemy's land. Even then shall the land rest and enjoy her Shabbats. Now, obviously, that's not the case now, because now the Gentiles are in the land. The Edomites are in the land as well. But in that Babylonian captivity, the temple was gone, the foundation was gone, nobody was there. So I gave you three words, three definitions for the word desolate. All three were in Hebrew. They were not secular sources. And I went in the book to show you that the one we're talking about, it just destroyed your whole Zephaniah NLT verse. Do you yield?
Absolutely not. For those who don't know,
I know. It's like
hold on, brother. Hold on. Ezek is the King James version only. For those who don't know.
Okay, hold on. Let me say it. Let me say it like this. Now, so I guess because you want to use that as some type of slight, but let me explain to the people. Yah says that his word is near to everybody, right? Do you
right,
have you ever read that scripture?
Million times. Okay,
so let me ask you a question. What is Yah's word?
Okay, the Most High's word is the Torah, the Tanakh, the Mikra.
Okay, stop. So if the Lord's word is the Torah and the Tanakh, and not the Mikra, the Torah and Tanakh. See, you think you're slick. The Torah and Tanakh, from Genesis to Malachi, is Yah's word, because in there he says, thus saith. He speaks his words. In the New Testament, he does not. But nevertheless, from Genesis to Malachi, that's the Most High's word. So now, he said, my word is near to everybody. Is the Septuagint near to everybody? Hey, boo, do you have a Septuagint? Does anybody? Most people don't even. Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a physical copy of the Septuagint? Can you show people on the screen?
No, I don't. I have a bookmark, though. I have a bookmark.
Okay, now let's stop. Now let me show you something. Let me learn you something real quick, all right? Like the old people say here. Let me learn you something. So let's go here. All right, here we go. Hold on, let me go back. I saw something else. Check this out. Okay, you see this here right here? The most popular Bible of the year is probably not what you think it is.
Yep.
It says Zondervan is taught in the new work as unique. I wonder why it's unique. You know what the word unique means? And remember, y'all use that Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary too, right? In part because it is based on a more popular translation of the Bible. It says the NIV is the second most read version of the Bible in the United States. After what?
The King James.
The King James. So now let's go back. Bible translations. Okay, let's go back. So we can understand what y'all said, because you told me you heard it. Hold on. Check this out. The most popular version in the world, right? Do you understand that? How many times has the King James, how many languages is the King James Bible in? Do you know?
Enlighten us.
Huh?
I know it was written in the Hampton Court Conference, right? Am I right?
And what now?
The King James Version was written in the Hampton Court Conference.
What I just asked you was, how many languages is the King James Bible in? You know it's over 2,000 languages, right? When Yah says my word is near everybody, what other book can make the claim? You just told me Genesis, you just told me the Bible was Yah's word. What version is translated in over 2,000 different languages? Is it Septuagint? If you went into a mud hut in Africa, you can find the KJV translated into their languages. Yah's word is near unto everybody. And for it to be near unto everybody, you have to be able to read it. Now, how many Israelites speak Greek? Do you speak Greek?
No.
Okay, good. Do you? So if you don't speak Greek, do you have a written version of Septuagint? You just said you didn't, right?
I got a bookmark.
That's not what I asked you. Listen to what I just said closely. I said you don't have a written version of the Septuagint, correct?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, that matters. Everything's electronic now. It's like saying, do you have a credit card?
No, listen, everything is electronic, but not everybody have electronics.
It's like saying, do you have cash or do you have a credit card, a debit card?
No, that's in America, but the majority of people on the planet don't have a credit card. You do know that, right? Majority of people on the planet don't even make $1 a day. You do know that, right? See, you keep looking at everything from the prospect of yourself and what you may have or what we may have here in America. You're not paying attention to what people around the world have, what the people in Kenya may have, or in Tanzania or Uganda, or deep in the Congo. Yah said his word is near everybody. Now I'm asking you again, Yah is not a liar. For his word to be near everybody, there has to be a translation. So what translation is near everybody? See, y'all want, and then listen, it's funny because you try to quote GMS and rock with GMS. GMS teach that King James is a black man, and rightfully so. I brought that series out a long time ago. So, but you'll say that he's a black man, and you'll say Jacob, the word James means Jacob, right?
Yeah, he won't say James. His name was Jacob. Like James ben Cleopas in the Bible.
James, it was James. But either way, but James, another name for James, you look in the dictionary, is the name is Jacob. So his name was basically King Jacob. It's a translation. Okay, so now let me ask you a question. I'm asking you now, because you're Great Millstone. Was King James an Israelite?
We certainly dark skinned. If it was an Israelite.
Stop. The Cushites are dark skinned. Listen what I'm asking you. Was King James an Israelite? What do your elders teach? Put it that way. I'll put you and your elders on Front Street. What does Great Millstone teach? Is King James an Israelite? Yes or no?
Yeah, right, yes.
Okay. So now what you're telling me is, did an Israelite translate the NLT? I'm just using circular logic for you and the rest of y'all ilk.
It's all that's from the Masoretic text, which came from the Leningrad Codex, if you do some research.
That's not, listen, once again, not what we're talking about. I asked you a basic, simple question because you don't even know where the NLT come from. And you were wrong when you said Leningrad Codex. Do I need to show it?
The New Living, the NIV, the KJV all come from the same source.
You said the NLT. See, now you're doing the dance again. Now you're trying to mention other versions. You didn't just read Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 8 and 9 in those other versions. You read it in the NLT. Did you not?
Yeah, but the NIV says the same thing. The King James, the other one, doesn't say the land. It says that we're going to take them captive, meaning we're going to take them.
I just asked you, listen, everybody listening to this video just heard you read that the land was going to be forever desolate. If the land is forever desolate and filled with thorns and thistles and salt pits, then you can't grow anything on it. So why would people want a land they can't grow anything on?
But I'll answer that. I'll respond
You know
to
what
that.
it is? You're from New York, right? Y'all in that concrete jungle. That's the problem. Because y'all don't understand that food, because see, you get your food from a grocery store, but you don't realize that farmers grow food on land, on farmable land. Now, ask any farmer, can you grow crops in thorns and thistles and salt pits?
Well, let me respond to that. You got people like I'm into real estate. I'm into real estate. My first book, if you can check my work out at lulu.com under Rabbi Lewis, Lewis. I had a book called Jesus Have Two Birthdays and Where Do White People Come From. My first book was called How Your Debt Will Make You Rich, Fraud, Films, and Fentanyls, which is about how Disney influenced people to pay taxes through film. Through the Victory Tax Act from 1942 or whatever. So anyway,
what we're talking about?
Back on topic. Yeah, back on topic. I'm in.
Okay, listen. So you saw what you just did? You just. No,
I'm about to make a point. If you let me finish,
I'll make the point about the topic.
Yeah, I'm making the point. You have people who are landlords. I know you know what the word landlord means, right? You got people who are landlords who may own territory or own property that have nothing on it. That's not inhabited. They just own the property themselves. So just because Israel's going to own a property that's not inhabited.
Stop. You talk to any landlord, they own their property for what reason? When you
right, of course. Let me caveat. Let me reconcile this. Let me say one thing. I'll let you respond.
Yeah, clean it up.
Of course, you're gonna do something with that. But there's people who own land that at this very moment, as we're speaking, on 4/16/2018, has nothing on it and is laying desolate. They still own the property. Now, if we're gonna do something with it later on, it's up for discussion. But there's people who own property that there's nothing on it.
Okay, listen, son. That's not. Listen. You're making another straw man argument. Y'all just said the land would be forever desolate, not for a period of time. Hold on. The translation.
You got people who own land. Like, is it?
No one owns land. Listen, son. Listen. No one owns land. Look, would you buy land that nothing would ever come from it? You'd never get anything off of it. Nobody would ever build anything on it. When you're in real estate, you buy land in rural areas because guess what? As more and more people in cities become industrialized, they need more land, and eventually a big business may say, "Hey, I want to buy this land because I want to put a super Walmart here, or a super Target, or a Best Buy."
Okay, right. I remember hearing Alex Jones from InfoWars saying, there's this myth going around that the Earth is overpopulated. You can fly over Texas in certain areas of Arizona where there's hundreds and hundreds of miles of land that's desolate. Somebody owns that land. There's land on this planet right now that's desolate, that's perpetually desolate, that somebody owns. Somebody on the planet owns that land.
Is it forever desolate?
Yeah, there's places on the planet that somebody owns it. It's perpetually desolate. It's somebody's jurisdiction, whether it's in Russia, Japan, wherever it's at. Somebody owns this stuff. But it could be desolate.
Listen, stop. If they got land, like the land you talk about in Texas, what is Texas known for?
Desert?
No, Texas is not known for desert, son. What is Texas known for?
Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's bigger.
That's a saying, son. Human beings are not bigger in Texas. Cars are not bigger in Texas. Son, stop it. That's a saying. I live 15 minutes from Texas. I live in Louisiana, Northwest Louisiana. I can get on the interstate. I can get on the interstate right now and drive 15 minutes, and I'll be in Texas. 15, 20 minutes top. And I'm not talking about speeding.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Well, after this turnover of wealth
Texas, happens, Louisiana. Listen, I'll show it to you. It's just like here. Haynesville. What is the Haynesville Shale? Do you know what that is?
I'm not from the South, so
I know you don't. That's my point. You're trying to talk about things you don't know nothing. You don't own any land.
Well, my family's from the South. My family's from the South, so.
But okay, but you don't own any land. You don't know anything about land. But I educate you. You see my screen right here? Right here. The Haynesville Shale is an informal pipeline of the Jurassic period rock formation that underlies the largest part of southwestern Arkansas, northwest Louisiana. That's where I live. And East Texas. This is where most of the oil comes from. And natural gas. You understand that? When you look at a movie, watch this. Watch this. I'm just going to type in, check this out.
How about the hay going by, rolling by?
Hold on, listen. You see what I just typed in? Oil pumps. The first thing that came up was oil pumps in Texas. I'm just gonna click oil pumps. Watch this here. Okay, let me show you something. Let me just click on this and see what this shows. Where's this picture from? Oh, it doesn't show it. Let me show you. Check this out. Texas. You ever seen the movie Beverly Hillbilly?
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you look up Beverly Hillbilly, now let me show you what the people are doing. See this image over here? Check this out. It's going to show you this right here. You see that early oil fields? You see Texas? You see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Now, this land, these vast pieces of land you're talking about that nobody lives on, that no one just owns land for the hell of it, son. That's not how it works. Either you're in real estate and you're hoping that this place is going to boom, or you're digging for minerals, mineral rights, natural gas, natural oil. Okay, that's what you're doing. This is what it's known. I just gave you the Haynesville Shale. Now watch this here. It just told you the Haynesville Shale was Northwest Louisiana, right? When you type in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is where I'm from, check this out. You go to maps. Let me just do Louisiana. Check this out. And I'll show you. Northwest Louisiana. All right. You see Shreveport right here? You see that? That dot? That's Shreveport. You see how it's going at interstate and I cross right over into Texas? You see that? Longview. Longview is about close to a little over an hour from me. You see that? But when I cross this state line, it'll say, welcome to Texas. See? So that's Northwest. Never eat soggy waffles. West, Northwest. Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay? You see that? So now we're talking about oil, and like I told you, because you're just stalling. I just showed you the land was going to be perpetually desolate. You went into real estate. You went trying to plug your book. You're doing all this other stuff besides sticking with the topic. People own land and real estate for you can go to YouTube and just Google real estate. Why people into real estate? You're trying to either A, hold that land because of mineral rights. See, you got mineral rights. I know you probably ain't never heard about that for today. Like right here, give you a prime example. Mineral rights in Louisiana.
Right. You just because something's perpetually desolate doesn't mean it doesn't have an owner. That's what I was trying to say.
Listen, but it just said the people shall possess it. There's no reason. Listen, there's no reason to possess it if it's going to be perpetually desolate.
Somebody still has to own it because that's how it works.
Listen, who wants to own something that you can't do nothing with?
So you're thinking like a slave because you don't own anything. No,
listen, stop. Listen, what you just said was completely and utterly idiotic. That has nothing to do thinking like a slave. Listen, son, I have land. You don't. Okay? When a person owns land, what they do is they hope for either to get the mineral content, the mineral rights, because right now gas companies will pay you. All companies will pay you if they dig and take minerals and stuff from under your land. You'll get a $5,000 check every month, $2,000 check every month. Whole neighborhoods. Matter of fact, where I moved from, they were digging natural gas. They were sending out letters saying if the whole neighborhood came and agreed, they would give us checks every month, almost for the rest of our life, basically, because they know the gas, the oil, and stuff is there. That's why I just showed you Haynesville. Right.
But where you're from is inhabited. There's places on the planet that are uninhabitable.
Yes, and who owns them? Who owns them?
That's owned by somebody.
You're speaking hypothetically. Somebody owns it. No, governments own it because it's a part of the territory. But once again, no, listen. What you just read was a place that was what? Perpetually desolate. If the grass is gonna grow, nobody's gonna go cut the grass. It's perpetually desolate.
Then listen to the scripture say Babylon's gonna be perpetually desolate.
Bro, you were wrong. I just gave you the Hebrew word for desolate. I showed you what it meant. I gave you the definition. You're wrong.
Doesn't
See, now
the Bible
you want to go
say
to these side
that Babylon is going to be perpetually desolate?
You say what now?
Does not the Bible say that Babylon is going to be perpetually desolate?
It does? Are you sure it says Babylon?
Yeah. Or it's either the Babylon, the daughter of Babylon.
Ah! So which one is it?
It's one of the two.
No, it's which one? Which one? If you're gonna bring up something to me, at least know what you're talking about.
I'll get it right now. You can talk. I'll get it right now. Go ahead.
Because it says that the daughter of Babylon shall be the habitations of what? Did it not say dragons?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so when the Most High takes us out of this captivity, and the Most High promised to drive every man back to his own what?
Yeah, it's Jeremiah 12. It's back to his own land. Everybody's going back to their own land.
And then after all these different things happen, is not Yah going to hit the daughter of Babylon with the plague mentioned in Zechariah?
So let me ask you a question. Who owns that land after this? Hold on, brother. Who owns that land after it's gonna get late? After it gets laid waste, who's gonna own that land?
Nobody does, fool. Nobody does.
No one owns it. No one owns it. Okay.
No, listen. First and foremost, you're talking about thinking like a slave, bro. Nobody owns land unless you're living on it or you're actually doing something with it. Other than that, it's just prime example. Who owns Antarctica?
Somebody owns it. Somebody owns it.
Who? I'm asking you. Who owns Antarctica?
It's a simple Google search. Let's take a look.
Well, you Google it.
I'll get it. I just don't want to hang up on accident.
Okay.
I got two things open at one time.
Hold on. Listen.
You can get it. I just don't want to close out on accident because I got two screens open at the same time. The brothers and sisters, it's getting late, so we're gonna be closing out in the next half an hour. Go ahead, brother. Who owns the Antarctica? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Treaty. There's a treaty. Yeah. You see that treaty?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You see that treaty?
We can see it.
Some treaty parties do not recognize territorial claims, and others maintain they reserve the right to make a claim. They reserve the right to make a claim. All positions are explicitly protected in Article 4 of the Antarctic Treaty, which preserves the status quo. No acts or activities taking place while the present treaty is in force shall constitute a basis for asserting, supporting, or denying claim to territorial sovereignty in Antarctica, or creating any rights of sovereignty in Antarctica. No new claim or enlargement of an existing claim to territorial sovereignty in Antarctica shall be asserted while the present treaty is in force. That's why it says the Antarctic Treaty puts aside what? It puts aside the potential for a conflict over sovereignty. Here's the treaty. Antarctica shall be used for peaceful purposes. Article 1. Freedom of scientific investigation in Antarctica and cooperation toward that end shall continue. Article 2. Scientific observation and results from Antarctica shall be exchanged and made freely available. You see that? Article 3. To promote the objectives and ensure the observance of the provision of the treaty, all areas of Antarctica, including all stations, installation, and equipment within those areas, shall be open at all times to inspections. You see that?
So who owns Antarctica?
No, it just gave you the articles. It's just scientists going through and they're doing research. That's the whole point. You had people, it tell you people was trying to claim they did, and then other people saying, no, nobody owns it. That's why they came up with the treaty.
So after America gets destroyed, which goes to the topic what we're talking about tonight, who's going to own that land? Is anybody going to own it, or is it just up for grabs?
Okay, watch this. Does the book say someone will own America? What does the book say? It shall be a desolation, a habitation of what? Dragons. Does it not? Let's get it.
Yeah. It said, yeah, get it. Then we're going to be closing out on this Segub thing, because Segub follows from the tribe of Judah, but he was being called by his mother's tribe. Why is that?
You're going to have to wait on that, brother, because you waited. You took us all around the world on all this. Like I said, we've been talking about, look, you got cut on the whole Moabite thing. We've been talking about damn real estate, which you don't own any real estate. You don't know anything about real estate. You wrote a book about real estate, but you've never owned any land. See, and that's the whole day. That's the whole thing.
Again, your only legs that you have to stand on is your version, your translation of the version that you've been translating.
Listen, you keep saying my version. I'm not strong. I am.
I always say one thing: the Blue Letter Bible disagrees with your translation. So you didn't prove anything yet,
bruh. The Hebrew word used there was what? A descendant of Moab.
Not in the Blue Letter. The Blue Letter doesn't say that.
Listen. Stop. You didn't show one verse that she was a Reubenite. You didn't show one verse of anything like that. You didn't.
What are we going to do with that?
Listen. People are going to go back and watch the video. The only thing you did was you pulled up some maps. You talked about the history. You talked about how the tribe of Reuben under Moshe took land from the Amorites, which used to be former territory of Moab. That's all you did. That's all you did. You didn't do nothing else. That's all you did. You didn't show one chapter or verse because there are no chapters and verses. I gave you.
That's another lie. That's another damn lie because I have.
Listen. At this point, it's 9:23. Like I told you, it's gonna be 2 hours. You wasted it. So now this is what's gonna happen. The next part of this show was supposed to be, can the Gentiles be saved? But you can't stick to a topic. You go over everything. Everybody gonna see as a witness. I had to reel you in at least 7 or 8 times. We started talking about damn oil, man, and retail. Because you don't, and you're talking about something, and do you own any land? But you're writing books on shit. You don't even own it.
Yeah,
you don't even own any land.
Now, when I wrote that book, I was 19. So I mean
exactly. And guess what? You're 26 now. You don't own any land. You didn't own any then. You don't own any now. But you're trying to tell me about something, about somebody that does own something.
Because I got stuff in the works. But anyway, that's personal.
Okay. That's neither here nor there.
Hold on, before we deal with can the Gentiles be saved, we're gonna be dealing with the social Shagoub thing. Because I'm not gonna let you go off this. Shagoub, why was hold on.
It is 9:24. I don't have all night for somebody that's gonna consistently make up your own. Listen, I gave the facts. So now you gotta wait. You gotta wait till Sunday. You just gotta wait till Sunday.
Well, like I said, I wanted before we can deal with can the Gentiles be saved, because we got about half an hour left.
No, we don't have a half hour left. We started at 7:10 to be exact. It is now 9:24. It has been 2 hours and 14 minutes. I have to work. You don't have to work tomorrow.
Okay, brother. So the ball is in your court. Move at your own space. Do what you want to do. Go ahead.
So like I told you, the next portion, as you see right here on my screen, can the Gentiles be saved? I already had it here. The word saved, what it meant in the Hebrew words for saved. Let me ask you
something real quick. Let's cut you off. I know you're for those who don't know, Ezekiel is an Old Testament only Israelite. So what is his? So the question is, what is his perspective of the word saved? What does it actually mean? And can the Gentiles be saved?
Listen, anybody that has been listening to me on this video know one thing. I don't have any perspective. That's why I got the definitions for all these words. Look, if you go back right here to my page, right here, when you ask me about something, I click over. I go through the King James Version. Everything we've been talking about. I go through everything, son. What the word desolate means, right? What the word conjecture means. What the word pedigree means. The census. I don't use my own words. And guess what? And when we did, watch this here. Look at my copious notes. You see this here? Hebrew 4124. I didn't write that. That's out of the Strongs. Guess what? When you come down, Hebrew what? Descendant. Hebrew 4125. That's out of the Strongs. Moabite. You see that? When all I do is give you definitions from what the scriptures say in the language that the scripture was written in. I don't give my own thing. That's what you're doing is matter of fact, you still haven't given us a verse that just says she was a Moabite. I mean, an Israelite. Like I said, everything. Look, these maps that you were trying to pull. Look at the fun fact. Balaam. I didn't even get into that. The Mesopotamian prophet. Can the nations be saved? You got a Mesopotamian prophet right here, Balaam, the one that was beating the donkey. He was a prophet of Yah. Hebrew 1. Listen, I'm giving you the Hebrew. Numbers 22, Numbers 26, the maps. Karak, the modern name for all this stuff I got here. All I do is give saved. Look at the word. The Hebrew word for save, kaya. The Hebrew word yasha for save. Like you get the Hebrew word Yeshaya, Isaiah, Yeshaya. So like I said, everything, see, you what it is, you just don't have the knowledge to deal with what I'm talking about. You're a conjecture guy. All I'm giving you is definitions. You haven't pulled one strong today. You haven't even shown one thing on your screen. And you're talking about, I'm just making up things. All I've been giving you is Strongs. I've been telling the people, go to Strongs. Listen, go back to the first video. I guarantee you, I have given more strong definitions in every video than you have. For every one you give, I guarantee you, I've given at least 5. That's all I do. Because it's not my words. And if something you don't understand, I go in that definition, like you went to the word desolation. I showed you 3 desolations. See, you're a liar. You continuously lie. I showed you the Hebrew word for desolation in 3 different words. And then I went in that definition and showed you the word desolate, and I showed you what the word desolate meant. That's all I do. Go back and look at any video. Anybody looking at this knows this. So you are the one that keeps stalling. Just like last week, the brother Boo and Amakiah, they asked you to deal with the topic and stop running, that your feet was on fire. You can go back and look in the chat. It's you always running. Now, if you can't deal with it, look at, like, Boo is looking at it right now. He's saying it right now. He's laughing. Exactly. Like I said, I'm always giving you definitions. That's all I give. And I'll prove it when I go back to my, look, this is some of the stuff we talked about a while ago. What is a Gentile, right? Greek 1672, Hellenes. Remember, you ain't brought none of this stuff up. Ethnos. I'm always bringing this stuff up. Mashama. You're not bringing any of this stuff up. Arak, Shabbat, what the word evening means. When does the day begin? Tavak, middle, mist, Isaiah. I'm the one always doing this. The only thing you come from is that garbage ass New Testament and that damn Apocrypha, which I cut last week and showed you that it shows it's not canon. Only the Catholics were dealing with it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you how dishonest you are. Let's see if you're going to tell the truth. Did I not prove to you over a month ago that even the early church fathers like Eusebius, they did not push the Apocrypha? Yes or no?
Well, Martin Luther King, the black activist who named himself after Martin Luther, I believe was a Protestant, he did say that the Apocrypha was profitable for his as a historical document.
Okay, now is he an Israelite? Hold on, listen. Is he an Israelite? Or is he a Gentile? Hold on, listen. Or are you following after the ways of the Gentiles? The point I'm telling you is this. The source material, you go back, the farther you go back, if people wasn't keeping the shit then, why are you dealing with it now? That's the point.
Well, see, it's
born every day.
Right. It's in the 1611 King James Version. They took it out after 1611. It's a part of the Bible. It's 1611 after they took it out.
The New Testament is as well. The same book. You say you wrote a book about do Jesus have 2 birthdays, which is impossible. I gave you the definition for Apocrypha. Did I not?
Right. If you go to the Wikipedia article on Apocrypha, it tells you what the word originally meant. And it didn't originally mean that. Bro,
listen. I'm asking you again. Did Eusebius keep it?
Eusebius was the one who put Jesus' name in your boy Josephus's work. Wasn't it? Wasn't it Eusebius who put Jesus' name there?
Eusebius was the one that was trying to make a case that you got cut on that too. That you were trying to say that Joseph, talking about their daddy and they had children and all that crap.
Right.
That's what Eusebius did. But he couldn't prove that because no older text says that. The Leningrad Codex, the Codex Sinaiticus, or the Septuaginta, none of them say that.
That's why he's world renowned as one of the earliest church fathers. Obviously.
Now, right here, if you look right here, it says
Dave, go home. Let me read that. It says from
you don't have to. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read out because you don't know how to read. You skip over things. I'm going to read all of it. Apocrypha, noun, late 14th century. Apocrypha, in reference to the apocryphal books of the Bible, from the late Latin Apocrypha, scripta, from neuter plural or Apocrypha secret, not approved for public reading. From Greek apocryphos, hidden, obscure, hard to understand, thus books of unknown authorship, especially those included in the Septuagint and the Septuaginta and the Vulgate, but not originally written in Hebrew and not counted as genuine by the Jews.
Again, the Jews wasn't us, first of all. And second of all, if you look at the Septuagint, the Apocrypha is there.
Listen, the Septuagint, son, I said it again. You want me to say it again? Especially those included in the Septuagint and Latin Vulgate, but not originally written in Hebrew. Not originally written in Hebrew. So when you start telling me about Esdras, chapter 2, second Esdras, all this nonsense, that wasn't written in Hebrew. Now, hold on. Ezra was 5th century BCE in the 400s, before the Greeks came on the scene. Why don't we have it in Hebrew? Why we only have it in Greek? You can't ask those questions because you don't even know the dates. Look, you would do better just giving me Tahar. Go tell Tahar to get his ass on here and let me cut your elders up. Then you'll humble yourself. Because right now you don't have the juice. You don't have the juice. I'm just keeping it real. You don't have the juice, bro. You don't have it. And it ain't got nothing to do with pride. It got everything with just line upon line, precept for precept, here a little, there a little. That's all it got to do with.
Okay, so I think it's clear you've been a glutton for correction all night tonight.
Bro, listen, the people gonna look at the video. Everything I said, I showed. I didn't write it. I'm not strong. I don't think nobody in here believe that I'm James D. Strong, a Gentile. Matter of fact, let me look this dude up and see how old this dude is. Let me see something.
Brothers and sisters, let me say something real quick. I didn't get a chance to go to any
Scriptures. James Strong's, the theologian, he died. He was born in 1822 and died in 1894. Okay? I think you would honestly understand and believe that I'm not 100 plus years old. I think you would know that, right? Or do you think I'm 100 and some years old? Do you think I'm James Strong? Because you keep saying my version. I'm not James Strong. Okay? And it says what? Was an American Methodist biblical scholar and educator and the creator of Strong's Concordance.
A Gentile, by the way. Oh, you told me about using Gentile sources.
That's not what I said. See, when I asked you earlier about Martin Luther was telling you what he thought. James Strong just took the Hebrew language and translated words. See, it's a difference. See, your Martin Luther reference that you closed, why I said he was a Gentile was because you told me he said, oh, in his opinion, it was good.
What was Martin Luther? What was his denomination?
He was a Protestant.
Okay, you know that. All right.
Once again, I would be thinking that if I know who Eusebius and Origen are, now I ask you again, did I not show you in text? Did I not prove to you that Origen, Origen, look it up, one of the original early church fathers, that he said the Apocrypha was garbage? Yes or no?
Even Tertullian, which is obviously he was black. He was a black too. He was black.
And Origen was too. And
yeah,
Tertullian.
Yeah, they were black. They were black.
But what did they say about the Apocrypha? I'm gonna see how honest you are.
Well, like it says, by the Jews. You swear to God we weren't the Jews. That ain't us.
Bro, listen. I'm asking you.
And Origen, Tertullian, they were in idolatry. They were in idolatry. You're the first one to say that.
That's not the. Listen, I don't understand how you don't understand what I'm saying. Origen is older than Martin Luther. Would you agree with that?
Okay, of course.
Okay, so the closer you go back to when these books were supposedly came, those people know what was going on at that time. Martin Luther don't know what was happening in the 1st century AD or the 2nd century AD. Would you agree with that?
Was Martin Luther black or white?
He was white. But I don't care if he's white or black. The point is, he said what his opinion was. These people in their time, nobody was reading the Apocrypha. That's what they said, that it was garbage. And you know it. That's why you dodged the question. Now I'm going to ask you again. Origen and Tertullian, what did they say about the Apocrypha?
Go ahead and pull it up, brother. If you got time, I know it's getting late. You got time, pull it up.
Late. I got to go to work in the morning. You don't have to work in the morning. I have to go to work in the morning. That's why I need you to be honest. But if you listen, it's fine. You already got crushed on Ruth. We'll deal with, can the Gentiles be saved on Sunday? I started my vacation Sunday. Matter of fact, this Shabbat, I started my vacation. So we'll start. I started my vacation on that day. It's that simple.
It's a date. It's a date. We'll do it. So the brothers and sisters, hold on, the brothers and sisters, listen. You got to make your own decision. Who's right? Was she a Reubenite? Was she a Moabite?
And let me also say another thing. I'm not GMS. If you can go through any of my videos where I told you I was a prophet, where I told you to listen to me, where I told you to follow me, or anybody to follow me, I told you all the time. I don't care what you into. I told you crystal clear you're in idolatry, and I don't care what you're into. As I showed you, Yahushua says what? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Choose you this day you will serve. Every man has to make a decision. I don't care what you into. Listen, if you into idolatry, you're going to get hit by a bus, that's on you. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And I keep telling you this. I don't have no love for idolaters. So I don't care. Listen. You know, even us doing this show, you asked me to do this show. I didn't beg to do this show. You know, I'm really indifferent about the show. Listen, I work with the youth. When I get off work, I work with the Israelites in the city.
And I appreciate the brother. I appreciate.
So listen. So, and what have I been doing for the last 4 years? My sons, 5 and 6 years old, know who they are. You've seen the videos where they can go in my own books and look up words. 6-year-old, show you what the word honey means. You've seen that. That's on record. That's on the videos. You heard me talk to my sons and ask him who the creator was, and they tell you Yah. And I ask him, you guys have seen the videos. Go back and look at the Tribe of Dan video that I did. When my son is sitting on my lap, he walks in the room. There's no prep time. I ask him, who did I name you after? Hezekiah, the king of Judah. He was 5 at that time. So this is, like I said, I live this. I'm not pretending. I'm not, nobody that tells me a man can rape a woman or rape women or have sex with Edomites and all this other crap, they're not my elders. My elders are not into homosexuality like GMS. They're not saying they're going to rape women in the kingdom. They're not on the street corners on the Shabbat, breaking the Shabbat, talking about they going to sit there and they can't wait to put niggas to death. That's what you come from. I don't come from that. See? So now, with that being the case, I'm just going to leave it at that. The people have the information now. They have the Strongs now. I gave them multiple instances of Strong's. The word desolation, you didn't believe that. I gave you multiple instances and all the different words. And as you saw, going into next week, so you can prepare, I give you a sneak peek, because you're going to need it. Can the Gentiles be saved? As you see right here, what does it say? Can the Gentiles be saved? I gave a regular standard dictionary. Then I went into the Hebrew, kaya. And we'll go through all of that. Then I went into what? Yeshua. Save definition 2, Hebrew 3, 4, 6, 7. Then I go into Bereshit 12 and 3. And I will bless them that bless thee and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. You just told me, you asked me, can the Gentiles be saved? Genesis 12 and 3. Y'all just cut that. He says, and in thee, the children of Israel, shall all the families of the earth, or Abraham rather, in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. All the families of the earth are not Israelites.
Ooh, we got some fire for you brothers and sisters next week.
And you see, it says daggers and more daggers and swords and salvation for foreigners. Do we need to keep going? The future glory of Israel? More heat for the streets? Nail in the coffin? And then we're going to get with some of this stuff here, that crazy nonsense you were talking about. We don't read the Bible from the beginning. We just pick up in verses and read. Or Muhammad was sent by Yah to teach the nations while we were cut off. All that crap you've been coming up with. Does Yah cause people to be wicked? Yeah, all that stuff we've been talking about that you've been coming up with, we're going to deal with all of that. So like I said, we'll deal with that next week. But we'll deal with Gentiles saved. This time, stay on topic.
All right. Great to have you.
I feel you, Brother Boo. Be here. Because like I said, it's going we're going to put all these myths and idolatry things to rest, man. Because this is nonsense, bro.
Let me say before you go, I appreciate the brother Ricardo, which is Edomite Slater, coming on again. Really appreciate the brother being a guest on my show. You know, we're like a tag team when we disagree on things, but we like a tag team anyway. Want to close out anything, brother? Want to close out?
Read, study, pray, and do. Keep the law, statutes, commandments, precepts, ordinances, and judgments. And then you will not be confused. The confusion comes when you don't read the book, you look at men, you take men words over Yah's. And that's why you're confused. You couldn't pay me to put Great Millstone on my YouTube page. Great Millstone, Long Island. Ain't no, and I'm putting this on the record now, ain't no doctrine they teach correct. Not one. Tithing. Can the Gentiles be saved? None of that. Rule for more. You getting this crap from them? That's why I told you I need the heavyweights. I don't need these. I don't need you. You're not a heavyweight. I need the heavyweights. That way, you know, everything. Once I shut them down, I know you, since you follow them, once I shut them down, then it'll all be good then. So I need the heavyweights. So send this video to them and let their ass come on here and get this work.
Are you going to be posting this video?
Huh?
Are you going to be posting this video on your page?
I'll post it on my page because the people need to see it. So the people can see you dipping and dabbing, right? People can see you dipping and dabbing. Like I said, it's very simple. And I'm going to show it to you again. When we go out, go to school in the morning, my sons read that. Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord, not GMS, not Martin Luther, but Yah. Yah bless.
All right, with that, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button. We gone.